Golden shadows stretched across the faded dining room of the Mensah estate in Ridge, once the heart of Accra's elite. Now it echoed with silence and desperation. The table was heavy with banku, grilled tilapia, and light soup, but Adwoa couldn't swallow a bite. Her father's voice sliced through the air like a blade. "You will marry Chief Kojo Bediako. That's final." She blinked. "Excuse me." Kweku Mensah didn't flinch. "In 3 months, you will be his wife." Her mother, Isi, said nothing, just chewed slowly, eyes fixed on her plate, hands clenched in her lap. "Daddy is over 50, Adwoa whispered. "I'm 22. He's respected, wealthy, never married. What else do you want?" Her voice cracked. "To finish school, to choose my own life." Kweku's fist slammed the table. "This isn't about fantasies. We are drowning. You want to watch this family name disappear because of your pride." Adwoa stood, her heart thudding. "And what about me? My voice?" "You're my only child," he said coldly. "Marry Kojo, or leave this house and never return." The silence was suffocating. She turned to her mother. "Mom." Isi dabbed her mouth, eyes still downcast. "Your father is doing what must be done. Chief Kojo is kind. He'll take care of you." That night, in her childhood room, Adwoa stared at the cracked ceiling. She wasn't being loved. She was being traded. Her breath came in shallow waves. Osu's night breeze offered no comfort. Her world was shifting, and her name, her dreams, her body, no longer hers. The air inside Christ the King Cathedral shimmered with incense and expectation. Gold fabrics draped the pews, and roses lined the aisle. Every guest was someone: ministers, moguls, and the press. But Adwoa Mensah felt invisible, her fingers cold against her father's arm as they walked the carpet. She wore ivory lace, hand-beaded, regal. Her coils were swept into a high bun beneath a delicate tiara. But her heart was stone. She looked every bit the bride the country wanted to see, and nothing like the woman she was inside. Chief Kojo Bediako waited at the altar, clothed in a champagne agbada embroidered with gold. His eyes were warm, even reverent. She couldn't meet them. The priest's words blurred until they reached her name. "Do you, Adwoa Mensah, take Kojo Bediako?" "I do," she said quickly, not even waiting for the sentence to end. There was a pause, awkward but brief. Rings were exchanged. Polite applause followed. When Kojo leaned in to kiss her, she tilted her head. He gently kissed her cheek. The cameras clicked. Ghana saw elegance. Only Adwoa felt the funeral beneath the fabric. At the reception, crystal chandeliers glittered over gold-trimmed tables. The live band played High Life. Social media exploded. #KojoWedsAdwoa trended. She danced, smiled, posed, on command. "You're glowing," a woman gushed. "He'll treat you like a queen." Adwoa's lips curved. "Thank you. My mother chose a dress." That night, in the honeymoon suite at Kempinski, she changed into a satin robe. Her tiara was gone. Just Adwoa, staring at herself in the mirror, unrecognizable. When she stepped back into the room, Kojo stood by the bed, quiet. "You look beautiful," he said softly. "I'm tired," she replied. "I understand. I'll take the couch." She paused, uncertain. "I didn't marry you to possess you," he added gently. "Not tonight. Not ever, unless you want it." For the first time that day, a crack appeared in her armor. She didn't answer, and he didn't ask again. Morning light streamed through sheer curtains in the honeymoon suite. Adwoa stirred beneath silk sheets, then froze. Empty. The other side of the bed was untouched. Kojo had kept his word. She padded into the lounge barefoot. A silver tray waited. Tea, fresh fruit, a handwritten note. "Had an early meeting. You look peaceful. Rest a day. You've earned it. Kojo." She read it twice. The kindness stung. He hadn't forced her, hadn't touched her, hadn't even tried. Instead, he offered patience, respect, but it didn't shrink the hollowness. Over the next week, they danced around each other. Breakfasts were quiet. At events, she wore her elegance like armor. He asked about her thesis. She replied with nods. He didn't push. He simply waited. Then came the call. She was lounging by the pool at the Mensah estate when the housekeeper appeared, breathless. "Madam, it's Chief Kojo's jet. It went down near Kamazi." Adwoa stood. No, the world spun. Hours later, confirmation came. No survivors. Kojo was gone. She sat frozen in the living room, the TV playing a muted stream of breaking news. Tech magnate Kojo Bediako dies in private jet crash. Black box unrecovered. Condolences poured in. Her mother wept. Her father looked stunned. "He didn't deserve this," Adwoa whispered. "No, he didn't," her mother said softly. 2 days later, the will was read in a glass-walled office in Osu. Per Chief Kojo Bediako's final testament, the lawyer announced, he has left the entirety of his estate to his legal spouse, Mrs. Adwoa Mensah Bediako. That includes Obibini Tech, all assets, and holdings. Gasps! Her father's face blanched. Adwoa sat motionless. Everything. Yes, everything. She was 22, a widow, and now one of the most powerful women in Ghana. But inside, all she felt was quiet. The papers called her the heiress of East Legon. The headline screamed, "Widowed at 22, richer than kings." But Adwoa felt like a stranger in her own skin. She moved into Kojo's cantonment's villa alone. The walls whispered jasmine and old wood. His slippers still waited by the door. His handwritten note remained on her bedside table. She couldn't bring herself to throw it away. The world thought she'd won. What they didn't know, Kojo had never touched her. He'd never demanded her affection. He'd offered something rarer, space. She never got to say goodbye. At the funeral, her black silk dress rippled in the sea breeze. Her veil covered her face, but not her grief. When the casket lowered into the ground, she whispered, "I'm sorry." She didn't know if it was for not loving him or for waiting too long. But she didn't break. She turned her pain into discipline. At Obibini Tech HQ in East Legon, she was no longer the child widow. She was CEO. She slashed dead weight, streamlined operations, recruited tech visionaries. Within months, profit soared. Bloggers called her the Ice Empress of Ghana Tech. They thought they were mocking her. She wore it like a crown. In private, she lived simply. Black coffee at 5 a.m., news briefings by 6, strategy meetings by 8, security check-ins. Silence. Efficiency was her refuge. Love? She didn't trust it. Not after the consultant who faked love for a 2 million Sadie investment. Not after the poet-architect who tried to drug her at dinner. She made her guards test every bottle now. She smiled only when necessary. She deleted every dating app. Her empire grew, but her heart sealed shut until one morning, her CFO knocked gently. "Ma, there's a request for a private strategy session." From Khalifa Group. Adwoa paused. "That's Raymond Ayu's company, isn't it?" "Yes, Ma. He's flying in next week. Asked to meet with you. Personally." She closed the folder slowly. "Fine," she said. "Book it." But something in her chest shifted. The Obibini Tech boardroom gleamed with chrome and teak, sunlight pouring through floor-to-ceiling windows. Department heads murmured about Khalifa Group, about international expansion. But Adwoa wasn't listening. She was waiting. Then the door opened, and silence followed. Raymond Ayu walked in like Accra belonged to him. No tie, just a black tailored suit, collar open, confidence quiet. His skin was bronze-tinged, his beard clean, his eyes unreadable. "Miss Mensah," he said, voice like wormwood. Adwoa stood. "Mr. Ayu." "Call me Raymond." "Only if you call me Adwoa." He smiled, just slightly. They sat side by side. Analysts talked numbers, projections, tech mergers. But beneath the stats and strategy, something buzzed. When she spoke, he listened, not for the pause, but for the punch. When he replied, she studied the tilt of his words. "You seem distracted," she said mid-presentation. Raymond chuckled. "You don't believe in foreplay, do you?" "In rooms like this?" "No." He leaned in, voice low. "I don't want to be you, and I'm not here to ruin you." "Then what do you want?" "To build with you." Their eyes locked. After the meeting, he requested a brief one-on-one. Her team hesitated. She waved them off. They stepped onto the private balcony, Accra glittering below. "You're exactly what they warned me about," he said. "Cold. Unshakable. And you?" The man with no past. "I watched your wedding," he admitted. "Didn't know you then, but I remembered how quiet your eyes were." She turned to him. "Is this business or curiosity?" "Business," he said. "The rest surprised me." That night, she received a vase of blood-red orchids. No note, just a gold sticker that read, "Unapologetic." She didn't smile, but she didn't throw them out either. Adwoa stood outside the locked door to Kojo's old study. She hadn't entered since the funeral, but today something pulled her. The air inside was still, books neatly shelved, mahogany desk untouched, his glasses folded beside a sealed envelope. The room smelled of vetiver and wood polish. She stepped in slowly, like trespassing on memory, sat in his chair, ran her fingers over the leather armrest. She had never cried, not during the will, not when headlines labeled her a queen. But now, in the quiet, she broke. Silent sobs racked her chest. She wasn't crying for Kojo as a husband. She cried for what could have been, had life waited, had time allowed love to bloom. That evening, she didn't go to the office. Instead, she sent Raymond a message. "I want to show you something." They drove to the estate under a peach and lavender sky. No words. She led him through the grand hall, past the private wing, and into the study. This was his sanctuary, she said. "I avoided it for years." Raymond looked around. "Kojo." She nodded. "I didn't love him," she whispered. "Not the way a wife should. I didn't get the chance." Raymond didn't move. He was a wise man. "From what I've seen, he loved you enough not to demand what you couldn't give." Taze welled again. "I was cold." "No," he replied. "You were surviving." Adwoa folded her arms. "I don't know how to honor him and still move forward." "You just did," he said softly. "You let me in." They sat in the study for hours. She told him about the wedding, about how Kojo slept on the couch, about the note he left. Raymond listened, not as a rival, not as a fixer, but as witness. Later, they walked in the jasmine-scented garden. Moonlight silvered the leaves. "I built Obibini Tech with pain," she said. "I never thought love could come after grief." Raymond paused. "Neither did I. But here we are." And for the first time in years, Adwoa didn't feel alone. She felt seen. The package arrived at Obibini Tech on a Wednesday. No return address. Inside, printed photos. Dozens of them. Private moments. Adwoa in her robe, Raymond arriving at her villa, their hands touching. And a note. "He's not who you think he is." Attached was a contract. Years ago, Raymond's name appeared in a failed takeover proposal targeting Obibini Tech, before Kojo's death. Her breath caught. Her pulse didn't. That evening, she laid the folder on Raymond's table. "I thought this might happen," he said calmly. "You didn't warn me. I didn't think it would resurface." He said you were part of it. Raymond stood silent. "Do you believe him?" Adwoa stared hard, then slowly handed the folder back. "No, but I'll handle it." Within 48 hours, her cybersecurity division exposed a sender, a disgraced ex-associate of Raymond's. Fraud, data theft, and shell companies unraveled like thread. Her legal team buried the scandal. Quietly, efficiently, the man vanished from Ghana's tech space. Later that night, Raymond sat across from her, quiet. "You didn't flinch," he said. "I've learned not to." That was terrifying. "I know." And also, he smiled, incredibly sexy. For the first time in days, she laughed. He reached for her hand. "I don't want your empire. I want to stand beside it." She didn't speak. Instead, she rose, walked to her drawer, and returned with a small silver key. "What's this?" he asked. "A key to the side gate. No one else's one." His brows lifted. "Adwoa, this isn't a test. It's trust." He didn't take the key right away. Instead, he cupped her face gently. "You're letting me in." "I already did." She dropped the key into his palm, not as surrender, but as promise. From that night on, something changed. Not louder, not public, just deeper. Two storms had collided and found calm. The ballroom at the Accra Summit glowed with gold. CEOs, founders, and foreign delegates mingled under chandeliers. But all eyes turned when Adwoa Mensah entered, draped in an emerald gown that sculpted her like a queen carved from light. She moved with calm fire. No crown, yet no one questioned who ruled the room. Raymond stood at a distance in the black tux, hands folded behind his back. He watched her speak on stage, her voice slicing through doubt, her presence silencing rooms built to intimidate. When the applause faded, she stepped off the podium and straight into his arms. "Did I do okay?" she asked softly. "You silenced lions," he replied. Later, under the sunset-stained sky, they stood on the marble terrace, champagne flutes in hand. Sea breeze, jasmine, victory. "I never thought I'd be here," she said. "Where?" "Free, powerful, loved." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a velvet box. She froze. He didn't kneel. "This isn't a proposal of ownership," he said. "It's a declaration." Inside lay a rare sapphire, deep blue, wrapped in gold filigree, elegant, fierce. "Like her, you don't need anyone, Adwoa," he continued. "You built an empire from ashes. I don't want to own you. I just want to walk beside you." She stared at the ring, then gently closed the box. "Not yet," she said. He blinked. "But you're mine," she whispered, cupping his jaw. "And when I wear that ring, it'll be because I want a life, not just a legacy." His smile was soft, certain, and when she kissed him, it wasn't for the cameras. It was for her. Weeks later, at the launch of the Beanie Women in Tech Initiative, a journalist asked, "What made you believe in love again?" Adwoa smiled. "Truly, love didn't save me," she said. "It waited until I saved myself."